a couple things. Okay, so here we are, everybody. We're at George's Zoom meditation today. It's on sleep healing and affirmation meditation. I think it'll be good because a lot of people have trouble with sleep, including myself. And I think George has a lot to say about this. So, George, why don't you take it from here?
Yes, indeed. I'll just talk for a few minutes before I start the meditation part. People that receive the email will probably be aware that I was suggesting that we allow a little time from our last meal, as it were, and last drinking before we go to sleep to give the body time to digest the food and to process any liquids that we've eaten. The reason for this is so that we don't have to get up in the night to go to the toilet and things. So I thought I'd mention that. And the recording itself or the meditation itself, I'll go into quite a number of different areas, but you'll hear that as we're in the meditation. So perhaps I'll start the meditation now. So if we gently close our eyes and take our awareness within and just allow ourselves to become aware of our breathing, and just breathe deeply for 4 or 5 breaths, just to take you down into the silence. Some things to consider is, when we go into our bedroom at night time, it might not be a bad idea to imagine like a cardboard box outside the bedroom door where we can just put all the negative thoughts and all the worries that we may have into the box and allow if you like, the universal energies, the uh, uh, helpers in spirit, if you like, and our angels to deal with those in the night, to allow our own mind to be free. I'm not saying that we shouldn't think when we go to sleep. I mean, for many years when I was a farmer, I'd work hard all day and then I'd go to bed, and what I'd noticed was that the thoughts that came in my head were really planning the next day's activity. There was over 1,000 jobs I could be doing on the farm, but if you like, my spirit helpers and guides used to list about 10 items that I would have to do the next day, which allowed my mind to just enjoy the sleep and things like that. So it's good just to not block out thoughts, but just, if you like, if you do have a lot of thoughts that aren't relevant, you could do conscious breathing, because it's very difficult to think a thought and breathe at the same time and be aware of your breath at the same time. So conscious breathing is a very good way to quieten the mind. It's also good to relax the physical body as well as we go to bed. So, I mean, you could scan through your body, relaxing the muscles and any areas of pain. You could just breathe into those areas to increase the oxygen in that region, as it were, and just be aware of, I mean, you could start at the feet, if you like, and work up the legs and up the back and down the arms, and release your shoulders and your neck, as it were, and release any tension in the head or headaches and things like that, and just allow yourself to allow the bed to support your weight as you're going to sleep, as it were. So we'll go into the meditation part now and just go a little deeper into the body. I mean, we could do this part as self-healing, if you like. We just become aware of all the organs of the body and just send them all love and healing. If you just think positive thoughts with perhaps a gentle smile on your face, and feel the cells of the organs smiling, and just thank them for the hard work they do as we go down the layers of the body, down through the cells, the molecules, the atoms, the finer particles, down into your light body and down into the underlying void of silence where we find that fountain of youth, as it were, that if you like, healing energy of the universe, where from the void comes out the light. So just bathe in that light coming out of that quantum field, that quantum vacuum state. Just allow it to wash over and fill your body with the healing light, and allow your body to fill it with light. And you could send some of the light down to the earth to heal the earth, and reach up to the central sun and the stars and the of our Milky Way, as it were, and the sun and the moon and the planets in our solar system. When we put ourselves in tune with the energies of the earth and the solar system we live in, we become in tune with nature. You could include in that list of things, if you like, you could include your the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the flowers and plants in your garden, etc., and connect on those levels as well, so that we are in tune with nature, as it were. And when we become in tune with nature, we and align our energies with the universe and the earth, what we find is that as we go about our daily business, we find nature support coming around us, where the nature itself brings us what we need when we need it. We find the synchronicities in life increase, and we become one with the universe. And then we could invite in to the meditation our angels and guides, and just inviting the energies on a personal level. Our angels, perhaps have Archangel Michael looking over us when we're asleep in bed to bring us protection. If our body's full of light, if we connect to this source of light within, or the light from the central sun, and draw up the energies from the earth, we fill our aura with the light energy, and then negativity and negative thoughts can't come near us, because the light always overrules the darkness. So just be aware, if you fill yourself with divine light, spiritual energy is another word for it, that we if you like, have like a field of protection around us. In India, it's called a kavach, I think the name is, where you have a field of energy that protects you from incoming energies, as it were, so we can rest smoothly, as it were. As we go through the night, we go through the various stages of sleep. We have rapid eye movement type sleep. We dream, and we may, find ourselves having out of body experiences, or we may find ourselves having healing from, a lot of the modern tapes that you might listen to on YouTube, it might refer to like the Palladians or Achurians with their light beds and things that bring healing to you as you sleep at night, and you can align your energies, as it were, with them, and raise your vibration so they can access your consciousness more clearly. So there's many stages, and then later in the night, some people may find that they're woken up at between 3 and 5 in the morning. This is the time when spirit comes around, and when well, in the just after the year 2000, I used to be woken up by spirit in the night to write my first book, which I think was channeled energy, where I would go down and be happily typing on the computer, but wouldn't really read it for 2 or 3 days afterwards. But I was always amazed at what I wrote, and I know it was me that was typing it in the computer, but at the time it was a much greater mind than mine that was providing the text that I was writing, because at that time of day the energies are very still. You're very much in the silence, and you're very much in tune with the spiritual energies. Your spirit friends come close to you at that time. You may choose to sit up and meditate. If you're struggling to get back off to sleep and doing a lot of tossing and turning, you may choose just to sit up and just enjoy the silence, as it were, that spirit brings you, and allow your consciousness to expand. We allow our feelings to move out into the extend beyond the body. You might find that you can reach out to perhaps the whole of our solar system, as it were, that who you really are is actually the whole universe. When you're in that quantum field of silence, it connects everything in the universe together. So if we allow our consciousness to be at that level, then you find yourself in tune with the Akashic records and all the knowledge of the universe. There's no time and space in that level of consciousness. It is very much the consciousness of the whole, rather than the earth spinning around the sun to get the years, as it were. The whole universe is there in the oneness energy. There's no we're still in the now moment, but what's available is our past and future as well, when we're in that state, because the time is a continuum, as it were. There's no normal time as we know it on planet Earth. So just be aware of that as well, and just allow yourself to be fully expanded in that oneness energy. Just take a few deep breaths and go down into that silence and experiencing it for yourself. Just reach out with your feelings and your emotions. Know that your feelings travel through the cells of the body, the molecules, the atoms, the finer particles, the finer levels of feeling, but your emotions travel through the liquid of the body. So see that subtle difference between your feelings and emotions, which is why when we cry, tears come out of our eyes. It is the water in the body that becomes emotional. If you have any issues that you feel that might need healing at bedtime, you could perhaps ask in this field of silence for help from your spiritual helpers and your guides, even your family and friends that live in spirit. When you're in this field of silence, we've raised our vibration to the level of spirit. So just be open to individually ask your own questions and ask for help. They normally that they won't help you unless you actually ask for the help. So do please ask the question, if you're having problems with any aspect of sleep, ask now while we're in this field of silence. It's good to keep an open mind as well. We live in a field of ever expanding love now, that the more and more people are meditating, more and more people are reaching out to this field of silence, which is full of divine love, full of divine grace, as it were. And just allow the awareness that light is coming down onto the planet Earth more and more day by day, and that the darkness is all the lies are coming to the surface to be identified. All the problems in life are coming to the surface. So just witness that happening. Don't get involved. Just as I say, you perhaps have to witness it taking place, but just do that and know that your own consciousness is based in love, and you can just know that you're also a creative being, and that we are part of that universal life force. We are part of God, if you like, and that the creative aspect is within you. By turning the attention in like this, we become aware of our gifts. So, you can't know something unless you're aware of it. So by going into the silence like this, we become aware of the different aspects of ourselves. We become aware of our feelings at the finer levels, of, if you like, the atoms and the finer particles. They're all conscious and they're all feelings, as it were. I notice myself, if I go and watch a film at the cinema and there's a scary scene, that when you jump, the energies within you that jump are on a very, very fine level, like the atomic level or the subatomic level. So it's, we can have awareness on that level. And the more in tune we are with our own nature, the less like we are to get sick. And it's only when we look outside of ourselves and that the problems of the world start to reflect within our physical bodies, that sickness comes in. If we know that we're connected to this divine source, and the light from the divine source is shining through our soul energy, which I see as a hologram of light, if you like, that our soul is like a hologram, that the laser light, if you like, coming from the void comes through, creates a three-dimensional field of energy which holds through the DNA, holds every cell and tells each cell what to do in what position within the body, because of the energy coming from source. So just be aware that as we charge up our soul energy with this divine light, that our energy field becomes stronger. The aura around the body becomes full of light, and and the cells, DNA will read that light and know exactly where they should be in the body and doing what job and what's needed, as it were, because it's all coordinated by divine energy. And just start to come back to the here and now, if you like, that we leave this field of silence now and start to become aware of our physical body again, Just see all the layers of the body fitting neatly one inside the other, all the fine particles that make up the atoms, and the atoms that make up the molecules, that make up the cells, that make up the organs of the body, and the whole body itself, the bones and the muscles, and all the different aspects of the body. Just see them all in perfect health, perfect vitality, fully vibrant with divine energy. And then perhaps reconnect again with your five senses of taste, touch, smell, and feeling, and start to come back to the here and now and become aware of the room around you by gently opening your eyes and then perhaps David might choose to coordinate the questions and answers section of the recording.
That's correct. And before we do that, well, a couple things. We're going to do it the way that we do it on the other Zooms. Raise your hand. But before that, I have a couple things to say about this. And George, that was amazing. I learned every time you do this, I learn more and more. And this is a good one. And usually the procedure is that I record it. I got an email. I do it on the cloud. It comes back to me in about an hour. And then I look at it. I don't know if I'll get a chance to look at it today or tomorrow, but I look at it and then I send it to Wendy. And if there's something that I don't like about it, she can edit it out. And so there's a whole process. And then she gets it on her YouTube channel. Sometimes she's busy and it won't go on right away, but she does get them on. And so, yeah, George and I have been working for about a year on this. It's coming up on a year. And I found that if I listen to it a couple times, each time I listen to his meditation, I get more and more out of it. And I recommend people doing that if they'd like to. It's helped me a lot. Now, as far as the meditation that we just heard, I just want to tell you about one part and how it affected me when George is talking about visualize going into the organs and then breaking it down to the smaller and smaller, the atoms and the electrons. And eventually you're in the void of the light. And you can use that light for a lot of things. And today I'm using it to see if I can get some healing. I've been having some pains in my legs. And so today I focused it on those legs. And I'm interested. I've done this before, and each time I do it, they feel a little bit better. So that's just one way that you can use the meditation. The last thing I want to say is I'm one of those people that for the past 5 years, I've been waking up between 3 and 5 in the morning. And I'm just wondering how many other people in the group that's happening to. Just raise your hands if you're one of those people. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a very common thing. And I mean, we could spend a whole meeting talking about it and what we're thinking about when that happens. And so not today, but But that's I'm just interesting. It's very interesting that that's happening to people. And so now, if anybody, usually you go around the room and people make comments, and I'll be the coordinator here. So and I know there's people here that have got things that they want to say, because I know a lot of people here. So if I was the first one, who's going to be next? Please raise your hand. Some of the well-known ones I'll pick on a little bit. Okay, Priscilla.
George's voice is wonderful. It's very trance-inducing. I appreciate that. And it's interesting because this is not a binaural, I do not have a binaural thing going on, except that I did a humming, and I have seen elsewhere that a humming sets up a binaural thing in your brain.
Wow.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of that, but mostly what I wanted to say is I got the most fabulous, most spectacular blue toward the end, maybe the last few minutes, the most spectacular blue I've ever seen. I didn't want to leave. It was this spectacular. Thank you, George.
Well done. It's, the humming is obviously in a way a form of meditation. You know, the word Om comes to mind that people use in meditation, which is almost like a hum, isn't it? The word Om.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's some people use that sound in that time between 3 and 5 in the morning, if they've woken up, and it can be very life supporting, as it were, and very healing to the body to do the humming.
Now, I just, since you brought up the 3 and 5 in the morning, this morning, I'm experimenting with lucid dreaming. Okay, so I've learned about hypnopompic, which is you're awake, but you're almost asleep period. So it's like you've gotten up in the night, you've gone back to bed, you're trying to get to sleep. You're almost asleep, but you're still awake. And then you can start manipulating your dreams conceivably. So I spent a fair amount of time this morning doing that. And it didn't seem to disturb my sleep. So I must have been getting some sleep out of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, a couple of points is that you use the word try, and try implies putting in effort, and the effort you're putting in would probably keep you awake. So it's probably best just to do what you say, witness your dreams or witness what's going on, but don't fight it, as it were. Just be totally relaxed and just watch it. And I've witnessed my dreams a lot, and I found out that if I just watch them, I still wake up refreshed in the morning. I don't have a problem with being partly awake in the night, as it were, in terms of having some consciousness as well as being asleep. I think I'm still asleep as well, but part of my awareness is watching me sleeping, as it were, and watching the dreams taking place, and watching myself astral travel, and having out-of-body experiences and things. So
Whoa.
it's it's interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Priscilla. Julia.
Yes, thank you, George. That was consistently beautiful. Thank you. Particularly relaxing for me, because I've got my video off because I'm resting on the bed, and so I actually was trying not to fall asleep, although it's only about 5:30 in the afternoon here. Not a specifically spiritual question, but I wondered if you could recommend any gentle, natural remedies to aid sleep. There's quite a lot of information out there, and I've looked at various things. I heard this week, inhaling ginger. If you pour boiling water on ginger, for example, late at night and inhale that, that's beneficial. I wondered if you could recommend anything, perhaps, that you found particularly good. Thank you.
But the Bach flower remedies, there's quite a range of them, and some of those can work with your sleep patterns, as it were. So it's just like taking drops of water, basically, that have got flower essences in them. That I mean, life's all about vibration, isn't it? And the flower remedies are collected from the sap of plants early in the morning, or flowers early in the morning, or different aspects of nature, basically, and they all work on the body in different ways. There's probably a website somewhere where you could find look through the list and find one suitable for sleep.
Well, there's lots of information, isn't there? I mean, typically here in the UK, they put valerian, the herb valerian, in a lot of things, and I find that upsets my stomach. Can't use it really. I just wondered what you found the best, so you perhaps find Bach flower remedies the best.
I think the best is just not to allow your body to have fully digested your meals and liquid before you go to bed.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a big thing now about being hydrated, isn't there? But I think you can perhaps be overhydrated later in the day.
It's good to take the hydration, early in the morning when you wake up, because that's when the kidneys start working again. The problem is if you drink lots of liquid just before bed, the kidneys want to go to sleep, but they're having to wake up to deal with all this extra liquid that you've just consumed, as it were. So it's much better to have a period of, if you like, fasting, for want of a better word.
Yes, well, that's
3 to 4 hours
easiest
before you go to sleep,
yeah.
and that way you basically your system's half ready for going to sleep anyway, because it's got no work to do, as it were.
Well, I'm trying to do that now, thank you, since reading your words. Ironically, they sell a lot of herbal teas for bedtime, but of course that seems to me that's defeating the object, really. So I'm going to have to use my bedtime teas up in the afternoon now, and as you say, not have much in the evening, except perhaps a drink of water.
Indeed.
Very
Well,
good
it's good to
advice,
have
thank
the
you.
hydration early in the morning, as I say, because that's when the kidneys are waking up and start filtering the blood and things, and taking the liquids out of the body. Okay.
Okay, now, Margaret Churchill, who's from Canada, do you have anything you'd like to say today?
Actually, I don't. I'm very relaxed. It was wonderful, but I really don't have anything to tell you about my experience. It was just very calming, very relaxing, and I probably fell asleep.
Thank you very much, Margaret. How about Denise, a medium from Florida? Do you have anything for us? No, she might not be. She might be out of the room or something. That's okay. Anybody else have anything that they want to add? Oh, here she is. Okay, Denise. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I had to find it. I'm not at my place. I'm dog sitting for some.
Okay.
I don't have a lot to add to. I tried to. It was very calming for me. I had a experience during a sound bowl experience this week where I went into a healing trance. But I got up and walked around the room and then passed out and walked into a wall, and I got a big gouge in my eye and broke a toe on my left foot, and I have a concussion. So, but it was good because I learned that I've reached a stage that if I'm going to go that deep, that I shouldn't do it alone. You know what I mean? I did it.
Mhm.
I'm not, I'm not, I have my son and I'm, you know, I'm by myself here. So I
Mhm.
woke up to her. She has a 100-pound German Shepherd, and I woke up to the Shepherd licking my face.
Mhm.
I wasn't technically alone. Now, if the dog wouldn't have licked my face, I don't know how long I would have been out or whatever have you. But it was, you know, so I've had a lot on my mind, and I was able to go into a very deep state. And that's why it took me a while to come back, is because I had to, you know,
Sure.
pull myself back. So it was very, very nice, George. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and you know what I wanted? I wanted to say something to you, David.
Mhm.
When what you did to your leg during the meditation is identical to Reiki and spiritual healing. You set an intention,
Mhm.
and you know what I mean? And you set it towards your foot. And that's really, you call that beaming. And because you know, you've heard of Reiki,
Yeah.
attuned, and that's, you know, that's like beaming, you know, beaming Reiki is
Yeah.
none other than setting intention and focusing on that intention. And your
Mhm.
intention was your foot. So
Yeah.
I wanted to share with you that's Reiki. You know,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Thanks.
you know what I mean? It's self-healing, right? Wouldn't you agree, George? Him
Yes,
setting,
indeed, very
yeah,
much so.
yeah.
Mhm.
So
It's also good to send your breath to that area as you're
Mhm.
breathing as well.
Okay.
And
Oh, wonderful.
yeah.
That's why I'm going to listen to it again and do it again to my leg. Carol.
Yeah, since this is my first time here, I really, really enjoyed it. I've listened to George's when Wendy would put them on, you know, the site, but being here in person makes a difference, I think, for me.
Oh,
So thank you.
thanks for that comment. I don't see any other hands. George?
Well, I was wondering what you'd like the meditation to be on next month, and I think David's got a few words to say about when it'll be on next month.
Yes.
As well.
I do. Before I forget now. Okay. Usually it's always the last Saturday of the month. And I'm traveling right now. I'm in Chicago. I live in Buffalo. And then I'm going out to Seattle to visit my son and family. And then my wife and I are going on a cruise. And when we're supposed to have it, I've tried this before and my Wi-Fi is bad. So instead of doing it on, and you're going to hear all about this in the email, I'm going to remind you all, instead of the 27th of September, which would be the last week, which we would usually have it, it's going to be September 20th, the third week in the month. At the same time, 12 noon Eastern time. And I send emails out with times on it and all that. So you'll get that. And plus Wendy will have it in in her Friday report. And now I notice that Lloyd has his hand up. So Lloyd, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, I have so many different things I'd like to bring up. I'm trying to narrow it down. I think the two most important issues for me are this business of waking up at 3 a.m. I've been training myself to go back to sleep and trying various things and being more or less successful. I'm doing an IAC meditation, which is the velo. You move your energy down the whole body and then back up and then down and up. And I'm having some success with that. I've gotten to the point where I can pretty much most nights count on getting back to sleep. But I'm not, I have this ring, this technology thing, an aura ring that tells me how much deep sleep I got and how much REM sleep and how much light sleep. And I was looking over the record for the past month of that and noticing that I get most of my deep sleep in the first part of the night. And I remember one night waking up and I didn't want to force it going back to bed. So I got up and I did some work. I was on my computer, with the light totally on, everything, for about, I don't know, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours. I went back to bed and I got some deep sleep in that second half. And I'm going back and forth all the time. I'm tempted to just create a space where I can work for 2 or 3 hours in the morning. And when I say work, I mean creative stuff, stuff that does require being in tune with the universe to do it well. And I can do that kind of stuff during the day, especially after a meditation, but maybe there's some reason I need to do it at night. It's just not necessarily convenient to have that kind of schedule because I'm not in a position to retire. Right now, I don't have any jobs early in the morning, but I could. And then we're traveling in October, and so that's one issue. And the other is probably the one I was most looking for, which I got some of, which is how to trust that abundant love, because throughout my life, I've had people who are in positions of authority with me, whether it be parental or bosses or whatever, who just can dip into that love, but then they use it to avoid conflict, and then they blow up. And I end up not trusting. And that's a bigger issue that, I'm afraid even to bring it up because that was my alarm.
Okay.
So
could I talk a little about that?
Absolutely.
I think what you're describing is outside influences that are blowing up, and not the love in your own heart. Your attention seems to be focusing externally to your body rather than internally, and really to find the stability, you need to connect to the love within and radiate it outwards. And by doing that, you actually stop the outside energy coming to you, the negativity, because you're radiating love out to the people around you and raising their vibration as well. So if you look within rather than without for the source of love, then I think you'd get on much better over it.
Oh, that's a point I hadn't thought of. Thank you. That's
okay.
Now we got Susan Weber. Why don't you go ahead, Susan?
I just wanted to comment that I hear you loud and clear what you're saying, and for the last year or so, I've really focused on self-love, because that you can trust. And once you learn to really self-love and be more gentle on yourself, then you can trust maybe those on the outside better. But it's all kind of like what you just said. It's all about self-love and that inner love and projecting it out. That's
Indeed.
all. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Susan. So the next question is going back to George, and he asked about, does anybody have anything that they want George to concentrate on next time as far as a meditation?
Maybe that self-love, that being gentle on yourself, because we're our own worst enemies. We're most judgmental against ourselves. Just a thought.
That's a good one.
Marge, can you mute, please? Mute, please. Thanks.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Okay. Anybody else have any ideas?
Well, I think possibly we could combine self-love with focusing on sending love to different parts of the body to heal them. So that would, if you like, focus on what you were talking about, David, as well as the self-love issue.
Julia, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just struggling with my... Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea. And for those of us that have had a less than perfect childhood, I didn't have the worst one ever, but it wasn't ideal. Perhaps letting go of the guilt, you know, that you've carried for years, a burden of negative thoughts that you've carried because perhaps you were told as a child you were no good, etc., all that sort of stuff. So I think that's a really good idea, getting rid of all the negative self-image that some of us have. So yeah, that would be really good, George, if you could develop something along those lines. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll be happy to do that.
There you go. Well, everybody, as I said before, we'll see you September 20th, and you'll get an email on it. And thank you, everybody, for coming. Have a good weekend, and see you all soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you, George.
Everyone have a great week.
Thank
You
You're
want
welcome.
to turn off the recording, David?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, it stopped it now.